What if one name could tear apart families, divide neighborhoods, and turn local politics into battlegrounds? In states across America, from Kansas to New York, the name Donald Trump still stirs up deep emotions, creating divisions that go far beyond politics. How did we get here? How did one leader ignite a divide so intense that it's now woven into the very identity of communities in states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, and Arizona? This isn't just about red versus blue. It's about who we are and who we're becoming. Stay with us as we explore how Trump's influence is reshaping communities and redefining what it means to be American today. You won't believe what's happening behind the scenes. In Pennsylvania, the line between rural and urban America has never been so clear, and race is often at the center of these divides. In small towns like Scranton, Trump's promises to revive coal and manufacturing jobs resonated deeply. Many there felt he was fighting for the forgotten American worker. But in cities like Philadelphia, with a diverse population that values progress on issues like race and social justice, his policies were seen as harmful, even divisive. Here, Trump's rhetoric on issues like immigration and law enforcement wasn't just political. It felt personal, especially for communities of color. In a state where people can share the same street but see the world so differently, the question remains, is there any hope of moving forward together? What happens when a state is split in two? Not by borders, but by beliefs. In Georgia, this divide is striking. For the first time in decades, Georgia flipped blue in 2020, driven largely by the suburbs and urban centers like Atlanta. Here, diverse and progressive communities saw Biden as a counter to Trump's rhetoric, embracing a vision of change and inclusivity. However, in rural Georgia, Trump's support remained unshaken, with many seeing him as a defender of their way of life and core values. Each side looks at the other as completely out of touch with reality. Can a state like Georgia, where even the soil feels divided, ever find common ground? In Arizona, Trump's stance on immigration and race has added another layer to the political divide. Phoenix, the state's largest city, is home to a growing population that values progressive stances on civil rights and inclusivity, with many rejecting Trump's policies as out of touch with Arizona's diversity. Yet in rural Arizona, Trump's message on securing borders resonates strongly with residents who see immigration as a central issue. In a state closely connected to the border, this difference in priorities around race and identity highlights just how deep the divide goes. Have you seen this divide in your own community? Maybe it's at a family gathering or even in conversations with friends. Let us know your experience, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay connected with us for more. What happens when a single leader's promises offer hope to one neighbor and despair to another? We see this same dynamic play out in Michigan, where the divide couldn't be clearer. In towns like Flint and Detroit, Trump's promise of an economic comeback was seen as a lifeline, a chance to bring back jobs and rebuild their communities. But just a few miles away, in more progressive cities, those same promises raised red flags. Many worried that Trump's policies would harm the environment and neglect the future. Much like in other parts of the country, neighbors in Michigan may work in the same factory, live on the same street, yet see America through completely different lenses. With both sides holding tight to their visions of the future, the question remains, how can Michigan move forward without leaving one side behind? And let's not forget Texas, a state with a deep cultural divide. While Trump's influence in Texas has largely been rooted in support from rural areas and small towns, cities like Houston, Dallas, and Austin have become Democratic strongholds, pushing for progressive policies on climate change, healthcare, and social justice, often with a strong focus on racial equity. As the state grows more diverse, the gap between rural and urban perspectives widens, leaving residents to wonder if their state can ever reconcile these differences. With more young people and people of color moving into cities and more conservative rural areas standing firm, Texas is the perfect example of the Trump divide. Trump's influence runs deep also in states like Ohio, Wisconsin, and Iowa, places that helped him rise to power. In rural towns, many felt forgotten by past leaders. Trump's promise to "Make America Great Again" gave hope for bringing back jobs. But in cities like Cleveland, Madison and Milwaukee, his policies on healthcare, race, and the environment were seen as a step back. These states, once swing states, are now so divided that just talking about politics can lead to tension. In all of these states, the divide goes beyond politics. It's deeply personal. It's in the way people talk about each other, how they view neighbors with opposing political views, and how they see the future. Can these communities ever come together? Or has the Trump divide set us on a path of permanent separation? Trump's policies have sparked cultural and social clashes that are not just temporary. They will define the lives of entire generations. But, in the end, we have to decide. Are we a country that can find common ground? Or are we destined to stay divided, torn apart by issues that go deeper than just politics? The choice is ours, but will we choose unity or continue down a path of separation? The future is uncertain, but it's ours to shape.